Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans and Masters of the Universe fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and here we are also being multiversal as we have these two figures that have miraculously appeared. I did not expect them to arrive quite this soon, but I'm really glad they have. So it's the Transformers and Masters of the Universe crossover. The crossover that no one knew they needed or wanted or perhaps even cared about, but it's happened nevertheless. And just on the back of these being dispatched, we've also had another two announced, and it's interesting because the first thing that leaps into my mind is how we're essentially seeing the Timelines characters being repurposed again. So in this set, I mean, they're doing it the other way around, but so in this set, the first to be released, we've got Skeletor and with Megatron armour, and we've got Bumblebee armour on Man-At-Arms. So we've got Skeletor and Bumblebee, sorry, we've got Megatron and Bumblebee in the first wave of these two figures, and the next two figures are He-Man as Optimus Prime and Scareglow as Starscream. So again, it's the Starscream, Optimus, Megatron and Bumblebee combinations that we've seen before. And that's cool. It just would be nice if we saw a few other characters. I'm just adjusting slightly because I've got to say, when these were announced, I was kind of like, are you actually serious? But mostly because they didn't really seem to transform. So I just thought, I don't really think this is going to be for me. But when you get them in hand and you're actually looking at it, I haven't opened the boxes yet. I've just got in from work and they were waiting for me. So I'm literally jumping on and doing this. So my enthusiasm / everything is sort of unprepared. I just wanted to get this done and get this out. Let's look at them. I mean, the packaging is lovely. You've got this wonderful, and again, you've got the sort of coloration of the Decepticons. You've got this wonderfully. It's not exactly embossed, but it's whatever you'd call that. But it's certainly sort of almost like hot stamped in terms of the logos. That's Transformers and Masters of the Universe is embossed. That is lovely. You can see that there, the light shining on it. The figure not embossed, but certainly picking up the light beautifully. It's not been punched for those people that love to collect things that aren't punched, which I can fully understand. The downside is the box is punched, like properly walloped in the side there, which I'm not super happy about. In fact, the packaging had no protective packaging at all. It was literally the two figures in a box, end of story. So I'm probably lucky that it's not any more damage than it is. One figure and 3 accessories. Okay, well, we can see the 3 accessories, I think, through here. But we'll take a look at it in a second. But we can see nice and closely here. We're not going to. I will get them out the packaging, because looking at the packaging, they're doing that wonderful thing that I really love when we get action figures, especially collectible, displayable action figures, where them leaving it so you can take them out and put them back in again without having to rip stuff, tear stuff or cut stuff. So I'm here for that. So I will be able to take them out, show you them, and then I can put them back in the packaging. We've got a nice Decepticon logo on the top there, Skeletor on the side, and on this side we've got Megatron, and here's of course the fused figure in the middle. On the back we have the artwork of Skeletor and with Megatron's armour. Infused with the strength and raw power of Megatron, leader of the Decepticons, the new armour donned by Skeletor is unyielding enough to harness both the power of Grayskull and the energon of the universe. How fantastic. There's some really, really lovely, and it's very much in the theme of He-Man figures. I used to collect He-Man figures, what a surprise, back in the 80s when I was a kid. I didn't have a huge amount of them. They didn't really grab me as much as other lines did. But I had a few because you kind of had to in the 80s. If you didn't have He-Man figures, there's probably something wrong with you. So you can see his sort of famous sort of goat's head staff has the fusion cannon base, which I like that concept. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll get him out in a set. It's all taped up. So we'll look. So that's that packaging. I'm just going to sort of do the packaging on both of them, and then I'll get them out. So here we have the Autobot variant, which is Bumblebee and Man-At-Arms. Again, I don't really understand why Man-At-Arms wasn't someone like Hound, because the coloration of Man-At, but then, you know, it is what it is. So Master Universe Transformers, this is an Autobot one. Again, we have Castle Grayskull there. Just meant to point out we had Snake Mountain on the other one. So that's a nice touch on the display. I'm looking at this, it almost reminds me of the opening sequence of Mask as much as it does the opening sequence of the Transformers cartoon. Here we have some accessories. There's Man-At-Arms, bless his heart, dressed up. I mean, funnily enough, some of his armour looks pretty much like his original armour, just happens to be sort of almost Bumblebee coloured. Yeah, I like it. I like it very much. On this side we have, of course, Bumblebee, animated format, and this side we have Duncan, Man-At-Arms, with his traditional helmet, which is definitely not the case here. And on the back we have more artwork, really good artwork, and I love the fact Bumblebee, there's a sort of a battle mask there for him. I'd love to know what the articulation is going to look like. So he's got a sort of extending sword and shield, which combine into an energon dagger, and he's got a visor that completes the Bumblebee armour. And what do we say over here? Man-At-Arms discovered that the Bumblebee armour is intuitive, isn't with the needs of its owner. It's with the right owner. No matter the attack, the Bumblebee armour gave Duncan everything he required to protect those in need at any given moment. So that's fantastic. How wonderful is Bumblebee's armour? So those are those two things. Initial reactions, straight off the cuff. Love the packaging, love the display options that the packaging gives you, because you can see they're not tied in. You can take them out, fiddle, do what you like, put it back in if you prefer to keep them in the box for safety, which I think I'm going to do for now. But yeah, this is fantastic. Give me 2 seconds, I'm going to get them out of the box. I'm not going to do a big unboxing on here because I just think it's going to be a faff. Yeah, we'll get them out of the box, and I'll show you them in up close and personal, nice and nice. So yeah, just if you haven't done so, drop a like to the video. That'd be great while I'm doing this. And if you could also possibly drop a subscription to the channel, it's completely free. Doesn't mean you have to. You're obliged to watch everything that gets put out, but it would be fantastic for me, because it helps me get to my next subscriber milestone, which would be absolutely meaning the world to me if you could help with that. Either way, if you're just here for the ride, then you know what, you have the power. Bear with me and let's get these guys out of the box. Okay, so this is future me jumping back in with a quick edit. There's a lot. I'm really enamoured with these. I didn't think I'd be as enamoured as I've turned out to be. The boxes are brilliant. Inside, you get a tech specs for Bumblebee Armour Man-At-Arms. This is on the interior flap, so it doesn't damage the box should you wish to cut it out. It's brilliant. There's that one for Man-At-Arms, and we also get one over here. Let me just turn it around the right way. For the Megatron armour for Skeletor. There we go. So how brilliant is that? That's an additional added feature that they didn't need to do. There's a few things they didn't need to do, and I think that it's all brilliant. Anyway, this was future me jumping in to show you this. Now let's get back to getting them out of the box. Okay, so let's start off with Man-At-Arms in his Bumblebee armour outside of the packaging. The packaging does come with a little sort of diorama type cardboard insert, which is intact. You'll see there's a plastic baggie on here. It's sellotaped on. I didn't want to waste time trying to peel the sellotape off or do anything with that for now. I just took the thing that was in it out, which I'll show you in a second. It is cool. But I've just left that on there, so please ignore. But let me just show you what this comes with. So it comes with this sort of battering tool, battering sort of mace, bang, bang. It comes with, as we've already seen, the Bumblebee armour shield, which has got the connecting parts there to attach other stuff. It's got a Man-At-Arms sort of energon sword, maybe. A pistol, very much like a combination of Bumblebee's pistol, but in the mould of Masters of the Universe accessories. And this is quite small. And the visor, which will complete the look for the Bumblebee mask. So those are the sort of key accessories that it came with. In the baggie, this was brilliant, and I don't think I expected this. In the baggie, we get this. So this is where the instructions are, which shows you where there are various points of articulation and removable parts, because there's a lot of bits that are removable. You just pop them off and out for whatever reason you might want to do that. What else does it show us? Oh, it just shows us that these are the removable parts. Remove and swap parts, so you can swap It's interesting. Swap parts with other figures, presumably, which is a feature. It's a thing you can do if you want to do it. I do not. So here, Transformers, Master of the Universe, it's a comic. So I don't know about you, but I don't know if you remember this. You probably do if you're a Master of the Universe fan. But Master of the Universe figures all came with a sort of mini comic inside. Well, so does this, by the Energon of Grayskull. And there's Megatron and Man-At-Arms fighting it out. There's Optimus. So there's a whole sort of mythology being set up in here, which features Castle Grayskull. There's Man-At-Arms. It's all really kind of, it's very, very well done. But you can see how they're putting Megatron and Bumblebee into the story. Here comes He-Man. There's just an awful lot. There's an awful lot to like here. I'm not going to read it out to you all. Oh, that looks like He-Man getting some Autobot armour, and there's Scarecrow in the Starscream armour. So they've introduced to be continued. So they've introduced those two other characters in this, ready for the second wave. I think that's brill. So I'm really here for that. Now, the figure itself, it does have some really good articulation, far better than the articulation. Thumbs up. It's a thumbs up from Duncan. Far better, I would say, than the articulation of the original He-Man figures. They're certainly, well, interestingly, and I'll only say that because he's got the very tight hips, and they're very limited forward and back because it feels like it's on an O-ring, which is so weird. But then we do have knee articulation, and we do have, mercifully, so he can stand up, foot articulation as well, heel articulation, and he's got his waist swivel. Now the old school and wrist as well, bit of wrist articulation, in and out and rotation. The old school He-Man figures, you could twist it and it would whiz round and punch her, or punch the other character. This doesn't have that spring-loaded feature, probably just as well. But I really love that face sculpt of Duncan Man-At-Arms. It really captures him brilliantly, and he's so jolly looking. Autobot symbol on the chest. You can see the Bumblebee inspired elements there against the old Man-At-Arms elements. It's really done nicely. I also like that you've got the asymmetrical armor, which is very Man-At-Arms, again even down to the feet. You've got that, and these do clip off. You can see there that it does just clip off. You've got the reverse of Bumblebee there. So all in all, I think this is a jolly good and frankly very entertaining figure to mess with. And I think you can do some. I'm just going to see where, I'm assuming this fits in there. That's how it attaches to create that look. And there's also a circular bit there. I'm wondering if this also fits in there somehow. It feels like it should, but I honestly can't see how it does. Maybe that's just what goes over his arm, because I can't see any suggestion of that on the box, but I can see that. So yeah, I think that's the extent of it in terms of the features of this. So this probably clasps in his hand, so he can, or maybe he can use it. How does it work? Does that just clasp over his arm like that? I don't know, making a pig's ear of it. But it looks, there you go. So he can have it attached to his arm there. That clearly is not how it should be, folks. I'm imagining that probably should go in like that. And then maybe that clips there. Okay, that's more like it. Okay, now let's bend the arm. Apologies if you're feeling seasick with the movement about. I'm just trying to get it to the articulated parts are very stiff to the point where I'm thinking if I move it the wrong way, I don't want to do a damage. I don't want to do a damage to the figure, you know. We've also got, as I mentioned, let's just pop this in. We've also got the visor, which just clips into place. So you've got the face, you've got some little tabs on either side. As you drop it, it is quite fiddly, and it doesn't help that it looks like it's properly made out of that blue transparent plastic. So it is already asking for trouble. It does just tab in though, and there you have that face mask effect for Man-At-Arms, but I don't really like it. But you don't have any storage, so there you go. So that's Man-At-Arms. It's a solid, fun Master of the Universe figure, paying homage to Transformers. It's doing exactly what it says it does on the tin, so I can't really comment. Let's have a look at Skeletor wearing Megatron this season. So next up we have Skeletor dressed up as Megatron, giving us Megatron cosplay. You can see on the background there, he comes with the exact same comic, so I'm not going to take that one out of the packaging. I'm going to leave that one where it is. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. There's a bit of that with him. Right, first up, we have the accessories. Here we have, and this is a fascinating design. So we have an arm-mounted fusion cannon that has this design wrapped around it. I think that is so cleverly Megatronic, and that tabs into there like that to give him his fusion cannon. So there's that, which I think is a neat touch. It's a neat touch. I'll leave it on for now, but I don't know if you'll be able to stand up with it, but we'll see. It also comes with this, which is a dagger blade with a handheld port there. Again, with his sort of, with his goat's head thing there. Very nice. He also comes with this, which is another sort of mace attachment. And it's a spin on the Energon mace that Megatron has. Again, with the same sort of evil goat's head representation. This is very flimsy. That's very sturdy for holding. This is very flimsy. And you kind of want to grab hold of the solid one when you take it out of the packaging. Don't. Unpackage it with this bit, because if you do it with this bit gets stuck in the packaging and it stretches this in a very uncomfortable way. So if you're removing this from the packaging, take it from the head first, let this come out, and then pop it out from there. I don't know if that undoes. I don't think it does, but I'm assuming this will, I mean, it's a bit droopy, so I don't think I'm going to use it with the figure as I give you my little tour around. Yeah, I think as accessories go, they're both doing okay. They're both doing okay from that point of view. Let me just double check to see what else can be done. Okay, cool. So there is an alternative configuration for this, where I think this pops out of there, that rotates down, and then that pops into there, and then he can, there's a slot here for his hand, so then you can go old school, and Megs can then hold on to his Mega if he'll do it. Everything's so stiff, fresh out of the box, you see. Maybe it's better off in this other hand. I don't think it is. Both the hands are moulded the same. I'm not going to waste too much time doing this if it doesn't go in. Oh, it's gone in. So as soon as I threaten to stop doing it. So I'll zoom out a bit so you can see that a bit better. Position his head for you. Zoom out a teeny bit. Oh, yeah, sure, you can see it all right. So you can actually hold it in that configuration, which again, super clever, super cool. I really, really like the idea of that. So you can see you just disconnect and turn it, and you've got that. So I think that's a really nice touch. Now I won't be able to get it off his hand. There we go, that's fine. So In terms of articulation, he's got these shoulder pauldrons which you can lift up so that you've then got shoulder articulation outwards. You've got, again, the very stiff elbows, which it just feels like it's going to break, which I really don't like. These are, again, removable parts. Rotation in the wrist, and you've got rotation at the elbow. We've got waist rotation. You've got the same sort of O-ring vibe going on there. But you've also got rotation in the above the ankles, in the shins, really, weirdly. And you've got, again, articulation in the feet. So again, they're very articulated up everywhere apart from the sort of the hips, which was very much the case of the original figures, for those who know. And again, you've got some wibbly wobbly with the head. The make sort of bucket head version of Skeletor. The detailing is, again, very good. You've got a combination of the Skeletor coloration and armour intermixed with what Megatron looks like, which is, again, really well integrated into the design. You immediately know you're looking at a fusion between Skeletor and Megatron. Then you've got the back where, again, you've got some storage ports there for some of the weapons, if you so wish to use it. And that's what you get there. So that's Megatron. Sorry, no, it's not. It's Skeletor giving us his Megatron vibes. And we've got Man-At-Arms cosplaying. Yeah, they're really... The only thing I would say is because of their hips, you've really got to get the feet just right, or you've got no hope of getting these guys to pose for you. In my experience so far. That may change. I may learn some tricks with them. But I'm going to rush to get this out for you because I'm just so excited to see it. So I'm only going to do some sort of, much like I did with timelines, I'll just do some photography of them. It's sort of in my booth here with different lighting. So here we have Man-At-Arms in his Bumblebee armour, and here we have Skeletor in his Megatron armour complete. I'm just going to transform this back because it's just fun to do, really. So you pull that off, rotate. How do we do it? Rotate that outwards, like so, and then insert the cannon into the mouth. And there's the port there, and then there's his arm cannon back in that mode. I just think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool, nifty gimmick. And I've managed to get him holding his mace and his sort of energon dagger sword shield thing. Folks, I was not going to pick these up. Then I had a surge of FOMO because, of course, I did. Glad I picked them up. They are fun to mess with. They're fun, silly figures. You know, and you might go, well, they're not very cheap for fun, silly figures. I think they're an appropriate price for the period that we're living in. You know, for September 2025, I think what you pay for these is probably fair. And in some ways, I'm really glad they've come out now, and they've arrived now, because the pre-order just went up for the other two figures. And I was a bit like, I really don't know. Well, now I do. I'm absolutely gonna get them. I love the fact there's some stuff on the box. This version of me is going to go back in time and insert an earlier bit. Within the boxes, you've got the tech specs. By now, you'll have seen that, which is a beautiful addition. They didn't need to do that. You've got the different colour inserts, very, very period. You've got the comic element, which tells the story of where the armours come from, and it introduces the next two characters, which is, again, really smart move on their part. All in all, these are going to be Marmite for people. People are going to get these and they're not going to get them because they're either going to love the concept or you're going to hate the concept. Now, some people don't like crossovers and collaborations, and that's absolutely fine. You like the purity of your brand. I would have thought if Masters of the Universe was going to do a crossover with Transformers, we'd see more Transformer elements. But you know what? These are people, they're not figures, and they're not vehicles. There are some Masters of the Universe vehicles, and I think it's kind of a nice change of direction. I mean, we've all seen the good and the bad in the G.I. Joe collaborations, and I don't really want to see any more bad there. This eliminates it being a pressure to create a Transformer that we all know and love that looks like them, but actually in this instance transforms into something that's from the G.I. Joe universe, although fantastic. but then you compromise on something. And it's usually the figure, the Transformers figure is what's compromised in favour of the vehicle. I'm thinking of the Megatron His Tank, for example. These, you don't have to worry about that. These, there's a storyline that talks to why they've got Transformers armour. And it's an ongoing storyline that will continue into the next set. So for me, that's got me interested. And I think it works. It won't be for everybody, so it's an acquired taste. If you like the sort of articulation you get with Masters of the Universe figures, you'll know what you're getting with these. If you want proper Transformers, this isn't for you. If you want something quirky that's a combination of two epic 1980s toy lines, this is for you. This is built for you. So absolutely pick it up. Similarly with the next two, as I say, it's an instant no-brainer for me. This is absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't be happier that I've picked them up. Let me know, is this an easy pass or an absolute must for you? I think it's, as I say, I think it's going to be Marmite. So there's no right or wrong answer. What some people love, other people will not love. That's just life, folks. So just let me know in the comments down below whether this is a thumbs up or a thumbs down for you in terms of, don't do a thumbs down. Just tell me in the comments if you think, oh, it's not for you. By all means, do a thumbs up, do a like, but don't do a thumbs down. That's not how that works. But do let me know what you think about this Masters of the Universe collaboration with Transformers. What were your initial thoughts? Were they like mine? Oh my God, what we're going to get? And has this changed your mind? Or are you thinking, no, it's just, this is a terrible mistake? I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear. Let me know down below. Again, if you could like the video, it's great. If you could subscribe, that's great. If not, don't panic. I'm just glad you spent some time with me looking at these two amazing new figures. Love them or hate them, there's certainly something to talk about. You take care. I look forward to seeing you in a future, or of course a past video. I've been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector, and this has been Bumblebee Armour Man-At-Arms and Megatron Armour Skeletor from the new Master of the Universe cross with Transformers collaboration, and frankly, I love it. Take care. Bye-bye for now.